I know the exact moment the silence in your home shifted from a peaceful retreat to a heavy blanket. You are sitting there right now, perhaps with a cup of tea cooling on the table, listening to the steady ticking of the clock, feeling the profound and sometimes suffocating weight of an empty house. I am sitting right beside you. I see the lines on your face, not as flaws, but as the beautiful map of a life poured out for others. If my words brought peace to your heart today, please leave a like to help share this comfort with others. Subscribe to the channel so we can continue to walk together, side by side, every single day. You have spent decades making sure everyone else was safe, fed, and loved. And now you look around these quiet rooms and wonder who is looking out for you. At 65 and beyond, the world tells you that your season of significance has passed. But I tell you that you have never been more precious to me. Women living alone carry a unique and often unseen burden. You lock your doors twice. You leave a light on. You wake up at the slightest sound in the night. And in those quiet, dark hours, the fear whispers to you. It tells you that you are vulnerable, that you are forgotten, that if something were to happen, no one would know. But I know. I count every hair on your head and catch every tear that falls in the dark. I want to lift that guilt from your shoulders right now. The guilt that says you should have planned better. The guilt that whispers you should have loved your children differently so they would visit more often. The guilt that insists your loneliness is somehow a punishment for past mistakes. It is absolutely not. You have done the very best you could with the light you were given, and I do not condemn you. The aching quiet of your hallways is not a sign of my absence, but a space I passionately want to fill with my gentle presence. You worry about the future, about nursing homes, about losing your hard-earned independence, about becoming a burden to the very children you sacrificed everything to raise. I understand that deep-seated fear. It is deeply human to want to remain the strong caretaker and never become the one who needs care. But I want you to remember that your worth is not, and has never been, tied to your utility. You do not have to earn your breath or my love. I see you looking at old photographs, touching the faces behind the glass, remembering a time when this house was loud and chaotic and full of life. You deeply miss the mess, you miss the noise, and sometimes the grief of those passing seasons feels like a physical ache in your chest. Please hear me. Your grief is sacred to me. I wept at the tomb of my friend, and I sit with you in your living room as you mourn the passing of time. I do not ask you to bravely smile through the sorrow, or pretend that the transition into your twilight years is easy. It is entirely acceptable to feel the sorrow of a shrinking world. Yet, in the midst of this sorrow, I am extending my hand to you, offering a comfort that the world cannot provide. You wonder about your safety in this home, constantly told what women living alone should never do, constantly bombarded with news that makes the world outside your door seem terrifying and hostile. I am your ultimate protector, the guardian of your soul, but I also care about your physical reality. I want you to make wise choices, to lock your doors and be mindful, but I absolutely do not want you to live as a prisoner to paranoia and dread. You were not created to live out your final chapters, shrinking back in fear. You were made to rest in the assurance that you are securely held by hands that shaped the galaxies. I know the anxieties that plague your mind when you think about your legacy, the inheritance you will leave behind, and whether you did enough to ensure your family's prosperity. You carry a heavy load of responsibility that no longer belongs to you. It is time to set it down. It is time to let me carry the heavy lifting of the universe, while you rest in the simple, profound truth that you are deeply, unconditionally, and eternally loved by your Creator. Allow me to breathe peace into your weary bones. Let me quiet the anxious thoughts that race through your mind at 3 in the morning. You are not invisible. You are not forgotten. You are seen. You are cherished. And you are entirely safe in my embrace. Let us look back together. Not with regret, but with the gentle clarity of grace. Life happens with such breathtaking speed, does it not? It feels like only yesterday you were holding your newborn children in your arms, pacing these very floors, exhausted but filled with a fierce, protective love. You spent decades pouring your energy, your youth, and your resources into building a safe haven for your family. You worked tirelessly, you worried endlessly, and without even realizing it, you began to build invisible walls. You built walls to keep the danger out, walls of financial planning to keep poverty at bay, walls of constant busyness to keep the fear of failure silenced. But as the years slipped by like water through your fingers, the children grew and moved away. The daily emergencies faded, and those walls you built for protection slowly became the walls of your isolation. The world outside continued to spin, growing louder, harsher, and more confusing. The evening news broadcasts fear directly into your living room, painting a picture of a society that has lost its way, reinforcing the terrifying idea that a woman living alone must constantly be on guard, suspecting everyone, trusting no one. Over the decades, these accumulated worries have steadily robbed you of your peace. You have traded the joyful freedom of your younger years for a hypervigilance that exhausts your spirit. I see how you look at your belongings, the accumulated treasures of a lifetime, and worry over who will take them, how they will be divided, and whether your legacy will cause division among your children. You fret over your inheritance, wanting to leave behind a financial blessing, sometimes denying yourself the simple comforts you desperately need right now in order to save pennies for a future you cannot control. My beloved child, I want to anchor your heart in reality today. I care deeply about your practical needs. I want your home to be safe. I want you to ensure your rugs are not tripping hazards, that your pathways are well lit, and that you have a secure way to call for help if you need it. Taking care of your physical body and your environment is an act of stewardship and wisdom, not a lack of faith. But true safety, the kind that lets you sleep deeply and wake up with a light heart, does not come from deadbolts or bank accounts. It comes from surrendering the illusion of control to me. You have spent your entire life trying to control the outcomes for everyone you love, and now that your ability to physically intervene has diminished, your anxiety has multiplied. I invite you to trace the anatomy of this heavy weight you carry. It is born of love, yes, but a love that has become entangled with fear. When you look at your grown children, you still see the toddlers who needed your constant supervision, and you agonize over their choices, their marriages, their struggles. You must release them into my hands. I love your children even more than you do, and my reach is infinite where yours is limited. Do not let the desire to control their paths or secure their inheritance rob you of the profound joy of simply being with them in the present moment. If they are busy, if the phone calls are too rare, do not let resentment build a new wall in your heart. Reach out with grace, but also cultivate your own vibrant life. The practical reality of your golden years is that you must shift your focus from providing for others to nurturing your own soul. Your home should not be a museum of the past, filled with ghosts and what-ifs, but a living sanctuary of my peace. Open your curtains, let the sunlight stream into your rooms, and actively reject the narrative that your best days are behind you. The world tells you that aging is a tragic decline, a slow fade into irrelevance. But in my kingdom, aging is a glorious ascent into wisdom. The wrinkles you see in the mirror are the badges of a warrior who has survived every storm. The slowing of your step is an invitation to finally walk at my pace, to linger in prayer, to notice the beauty of a quiet morning, to listen to the whisper of my spirit. You lost your peace when you began to believe that you had to hold your world together by your own strength. You lost yourself in the roles of mother, wife, and provider, and now that those roles have shifted, you feel adrift. But I am calling you back to your truest identity. You are my beloved daughter. Before you were anything else to anyone else, you were mine. I am here to dismantle those walls of fear, brick by heavy brick, and replace them with an unshakable, profound trust in my provision. Now we reach the beautiful turning point, the moment where the heavy gravity of the world gives way to the uplifting breeze of my grace. I want to offer you a profound shift in perspective, a divine solution to the anxieties that have plagued your quiet hours. The world operates on a strict, unforgiving timeline. It tells you that if you have not achieved your dreams by a certain age, it is too late. It whispers that if you made mistakes with your children decades ago, the damage is permanently done and cannot be undone. It insists that the time you have wasted is gone forever, leaving you with nothing but the bitter ashes of regret. But my grace absolutely does not function according to the rigid, ticking clocks of this world. In my economy of love, it is never, ever too late. The time that remains to you, whether it is counted in decades, years, or days, is more than enough for complete redemption, profound healing, and perfect peace. I promised you this long ago, and my word remains as steady as the sunrise. As it is written in the scriptures, "Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest." I am speaking those words directly to your heart right now. You have been weary for so long, carrying the emotional baggage of a lifetime, lugging around suitcases filled with old resentments, lingering guilts, and persistent fears about what tomorrow might bring. Drop them right here at my feet. You do not need to carry them across the threshold into your tomorrow. I offer you a true, lasting relief that transcends your physical circumstances. Even if your health declines, even if you eventually need to transition to an assisted living facility, even if your earthly home changes, your eternal safety in me is entirely secure. The physical walls around you may change, but I am your impenetrable fortress. I want to heal the fractures in your family tree. Where there is silence between you and your children, I can speak volumes of reconciliation. Where there is pain over words spoken in anger years ago, I can apply the soothing balm of my forgiveness. You simply need to ask, to open your hands, and to surrender the outcome to me. Do not let the enemy convince you that your final chapters must be written in the dark ink of loneliness and despair. I am the author of your life, and I write stories of glorious redemption. Your latter days can be greater than your former days in the realm of the Spirit. You have an immense reservoir of wisdom, gained through the trials and triumphs of a long life, that the younger generations desperately need, even if they do not know how to ask for it. But before you can pour out that wisdom, you must first be filled to the brim with my peace. I am inviting you into a deep, intimate daily walk with me. When you wake up and the house is quiet, do not let the silence frighten you. Recognize it as my gentle invitation to converse with the Creator of the universe. When you sit down to eat alone, know that I am breaking bread with you, blessing your nourishment, and filling the empty chair with my presence. Your home is not a lonely outpost. It is a radiant sanctuary where the King of Kings delights to dwell with you. The ultimate inheritance you can leave your children is not a house, or a bank account, or a collection of antique furniture. The greatest, most enduring legacy you can possibly leave them is the indelible memory of a mother who walked in absolute, unshakable peace during her final years. Show them what it looks like to age not with bitterness and fear, but with radiant grace and profound trust in God. Let them see my light reflecting in your eyes. This is the true safety you have been seeking. It is not found in a security system, though you should use one. It is found in the deep, unwavering knowledge that your soul is completely secure in my hands. I am wrapping my arms around you right now, calming your racing heart, soothing your frayed nerves, and whispering my eternal love into your spirit. You are profoundly safe, my precious daughter. Your story is not over. It is simply entering its most beautiful, grace-filled movement. I desire to walk this gentle path with you every single day, to be your constant companion, your faithful confidant, and your ultimate protector. If you feel the weight lifting, if you desire to step into this divine peace and walk closely with me through the rest of your beautiful journey, I invite you to make a simple declaration today. Leave your burden in the comments below. Type, "I receive your peace, Lord," and please subscribe to the channel so we can continue to walk together every single day.